Hey, what's going on, man? Hola amigo, ¿cómo estás? Guten Tag, wie geht's dir? Wanted to show you the very first game I had in the Panzer Sfl V. It's on, let's see, whoops. It's on Sand River Encounter Battle. The Panzer Sfl V is a Tier 7 German tank destroyer introduced patch 8.8, 8.9. So it's been out for a little bit, but not a whole heck of a lot of time. But man, first thing I want to point out is look at that gun depression. Absolutely insane gun depression, but I digress. Again, this is the first video in it, and I've been scraping and scrounging up to buy this thing. I had that little video a little while back about which tank should be my next tank. The Tiger II ended up winning out, but it was a close second between this and the E50. I think the E50 technically got second place if the viewer voted tank, but decided to pick this up because I got the money for it, don't have the money for the Tier 9 E50, which I think is like 3 million credits, so decided to go with this. I scraped and scrounged, like I said, play a lot of Tier 5 games, and here we are. Now, about the tank itself, this thing is basically, I believe it's completely stock. I have the first gun, the only tracks, I think, for it, or the first tracks for it. I think the engine might have been upgraded, but I'm not quite sure on that. Don't quote me on that. But the radio has been upgraded. Other than that, everything is completely stock. The gun itself is 169 pin, 300 damage, so it's not very powerful. See, look at it. Look at that again. I mean, that's just absolutely crazy. The gun doesn't go side to side very much, but it does have a very good gun depression. And you can see here real quick, talk about the layout. We have a horrible split. There's absolutely nobody here in this center of the map. I was kind of going back and forth, where do I want to go? Because I know I got a big target. This thing is pretty big. And it's kind of a weak armored vehicle. Although I do bounce a couple shots with it. So I was like, where do I go? I don't want to go up in the front because I'm going to get pinned really easily. I won't be able to do any damage because I'll be shooting at the front of tanks, blah, blah, blah. So I decided to come down to the south here and kind of sit on the inside and use these sand dunes as cover. Here I could take out the Lucius, or the Lukes. And now I'm going to perch up right here and start shooting at these guys inside the town. This is actually one of the best games I've had for the first time I played a tank, if that makes sense. Like the first time I just buy a tank and, like my very first game in it, this is one of the best times that the best games I've had in it. I mean, you'll obviously see, because I always show you guys the statistics, all that kind of jazz. But I was getting worried here with this T-25 pushing up on me. I thought I could get not surrounded, but did you see that? That was pretty crazy, the ricochet there. But I could get circled to death. That's it. I could get circled pretty easily here, and nobody was really around to help me out. The other 3 TDs were too far south, but luckily that 300 damage, that 300 average damage, I ended up getting them. So there's nobody in my immediate vicinity that can actually do any damage to me. The KV-1S is kind of screwing around inside the city, shooting at those 3 TDs in the south. However, we have lost the north completely. So you can see I'm torn here. What do I do? Should I keep focusing on the cap, or should I go back and try to protect the arty? Thankfully, this KV-1S pops up and pays absolutely no attention to me. And see, look, let me pause it right here. Look at that. Just barely, you can just barely see the top of that tank over the sand dune there. The gun depression is just absolutely insane. I think this is probably some of the best gun depression the German tanks have ever had, that I've ever seen in any of them. And just like that, there's my 4th kill. Kind of a long aiming time there, as you can see, but the On this gun, anyway, the aiming time is pretty long, but the accuracy is pretty good. And unfortunately, you can't see how long it takes to reload the shells at this point, but it doesn't feel bad to me. It doesn't feel like it's forever. I mean, it is a big gun. I think it's a 105. Yeah, it's a 105, so it's a big gun. I don't have anything in it. I don't have vents. Well, you can't put vents on it anyway since it's open. Whoops, wrong button. Since it's open top like this, so you can't put the vents in there. Obviously, the crew has a very good ventilation as it is with no closed canopy or whatever you want to call it. But I don't have any gun rammer, no nothing, no binoculars. As you can see, there's no binocular stuff down here, no camouflage, absolutely nothing. Just basically, like I said, totally stock. So I got 5 kills, and I'm almost at a top gun with this thing in the very first game I played. So at this point, it's like, what do I do? I took that shot at that SU-122 there, missed him. It's taken me a long time to move anywhere because this thing is rather slow. You can see 17, 18 kilometers per hour. Now I am not on good, hard, solid ground, but in any event, I don't think I'm going to be flying around the battlefield in this thing like you would with the Panzer Sfl C. So here I actually made a mistake. I was imagining that this guy was going to be in the back here, B2, B3, maybe B4. That he'd have taken some time to like move through this backfield here. But this dude in this T-29 was actually calling it right. See, I'm back here looking around. I was imagining my teammates here would spot the guy. I guess this SU-122 is a lot faster than I gave it credit for. We got one guy in cap. And see, I just don't see anything. There he is. As you can see again, the aiming time is kind of nasty on this. And just barely missed that shot. You can't get any closer than that. And then just that little bit there. Couldn't get in on him. And then the Jagdpanther, or the Panzer IV seals his fate. But that's my first game in the Panzer Sfl V. It's decent. I'm actually pretty happy with this thing so far. It's got a low pen, like you said, like I told you, 169 pen isn't very good, so you have to get onto the flanks. But that's kind of what you have to do with this thing anyway. It's a big tank. You don't want to be sitting up in the front. You have to be onto the sides, onto the flanks, to not only save yourself and to also be able to penetrate the tanks and do some damage. But let's get into those credits, and well, not credits, but the man, just can't think today for some reason. The slides, that's it. Let's take a look at those slides and see how I did in detail. Okay, first slide. You can see obviously a victory. Mastery badge, 2nd class, so not too bad there. I knocked out 5 tanks, did damage to 6. Let's move on to the next slide. Led the team with 1,676 damage dealt. Right, just barely ahead of that AMX-13 F3. Or roughly 45 difference in damage, so not too bad, but it was pretty close. The GW Panther that on the opposite team had a pretty good game with 2,559 damage done. Third and final slide, 13 shots fired, 9 direct hits, 8 pens. Now remember that one ricochet off that T-25, that was pretty sick. You can see it go flying straight up in the air. Hits received, 3 hits, only 1 penetrated. That's frankly rather surprising. You can look over to the side onto the right side of the slide here, you can see I have 850 hit points in this thing. Max engine speed is 25 kilometers per hour. Max traverse speed is 30 degrees per second. Hull armor, 50 millimeters of hull armor. So, and it's not exactly the most angled armor that there is in the world either. So it's pretty surprising they actually bounced those shots. Moving back over to what I was discussing on the slide itself, 330 potential damage received. Again, 6 fields damaged, 5 destroyed. Auto repair it was 756 credits. Now at this point, I have enough 105 shells from other tanks from the VK4502, I believe it was. So I didn't have to worry about resupplying the ammunition, but as soon as I get a better game where you can see just how much exactly each round costs, I'll obviously put that up so you can take a look at that, for a total net profit of 18,000 credits. So not a bad game. Not a bad game at all. I was pretty happy with this thing for the first game. And yeah, you can take a look also on the left side of the screen, left side of the slide. You can see my crew in it. I took out the crew from the Ferdinand, put them into this thing, and retrained them. That's something I talk a little bit about in another video that I put up, how to play World of Tanks for free. Again, I am a free player. It takes me a long time to be able to buy these things because I just don't have the time or the money to put into this game. But to start buying gold and 100% crews and all that kind of jazz. But anyway, that's how I go about putting the crew in there. I took the crew out of the Ferd, put it in here, used the Stug, and I think it was a T2 combat card that you get for free, and one other. I think it's a tier 2 or tier 3, a couple tier 2, tier 3s. The Panzer Sfl C, I think it is. It's also a tier 3. Use those vehicles to start getting my credits up. And then what I did was I would retrain each individual crew member from the Ferd. I would retrain it for the Panzer Sfl V, which would cost like 20,000 credits to get up to 90%. Then I had these guys with Brothers in Arms and Mentor and all that kind of junk. So then that's why they're up to 102, 100% already. And the Commander's at 93%. So with that, please like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Are you playing this tank? Are you going to go down this line? Some of you have talked about coming down the new line here and are actually working down it. Excuse me. Where are you right now? Are you on the tier 7? Are you on this thing? Are you past me? What are your thoughts on this thing? How insane is that gun depression? I mean, really. Obviously, that's just I don't think I've ever seen it on almost any other tank in the game. So, but with that, please like, comment, favorite, subscribe for more World of Tanks action, and I will see you soon. Take care, man.